all on camera. You look good.
Oh, good.
Just kind of an A.
It's a matter of
Jimmy
opinion.
might be half on.
Yeah.
All right, you're
half.
fine.
Okay, I will call the January 10th, 2025 Administration Committee to order and notify and acknowledge that the press and public have been duly notified in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. First order of business is nomination and election of chair and vice chair. Open the floor for nominations for chair.
I nominate Philip Pounds.
Second.
Okay.
Jimmy or John, Jimmy John. That's how these names get put together, isn't it? Just a reminder, I'm here for the duration for the administrator position, so really whoever becomes vice chair will be chair for the year for the most part, just full disclosure before we take a vote.
Okay. With no other nominations, I close the nominations and call for a vote for the election of Philip as chairman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor, turn it over to you.
Douglas, you don't get a vote. So next item would be election of vice chair, and I would nominate John Bogosian.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Douglas, citizens' comments? Nothing?
No,
Nobody?
none received.
Approval of previous meeting minutes. John, we'll rely on you for this mostly. This is from November 6th. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Yeah, but
There's
edit,
one
or-
blank in there that is in the first,
Page 2,
page 2. and
Just
it
before the
should be-
motion.
It should be Kristen, his name.
Oh, got it.
Kristen Mack,
Ms. X.
yeah. Other than that, I don't see.
yep. We'll get that added.
Okay. Any other edits or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No old business. First item of new business is discussion and consideration of job description for staff accountant position that was in your packet. Janice, you want to, or Douglas, walk us through it or
Go
just
ahead.
overview?
Sure. This position was budgeted through the budget season time for an assistant to our finance director, doing more of the cash application, reconciliation, bank statements, and so forth, as listed in the job description, so that Deborah had more time for high-level finance things to put together. Position is budgeted from January to June, and so we would like to get this approved so we can get the job posted.
Can I, have
Yeah.
a discussion on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this has been around a long time, probably 2 years, which was in both budgets, and we never filled it. But my recollection was the position was something different than what you stated. I thought that, and this all was an outcome of when Debbie Suggs left, and we felt like we had somebody there for, God, I don't know, knows how many years, but that we felt a little vulnerable, and that even with her being there, we felt vulnerable, right? We wanted to get some backup. And we also wanted to have more depth to the financial capabilities and more financial planning, more analysis, kind of what we're hiring some of these outside firms to do, to maybe bring in internal.
So
And
you're-
it's not just like a bookkeeper, entry-level bookkeeper.
You're exactly right, but it's taking over those day-to-day functions of the finance director to be able to do those additional functions that we've been looking for.
And I think the title of the position, though, if I remember, was financial analyst,
It
not
was.
staff accountant.
Correct, and we reevaluated that based on what was listed for the job description. And we found the analyst to have more into what Deborah would be doing, opposed to what she needed another person to assist her to
But
do.
don't we want to bring someone in, I mean, that has a little bit more capability than just a bookkeeper? I mean, I think it doesn't hurt to have somebody that has a skill set similar to Deborah's, to me. I just don't think we want an entry-level bookkeeper in this position. We want someone that can come in, help do some analysis and planning, but, you know, when we go into budgets, kind of have analysis on what's happened and why, and, you know, this modeling of capital planning modeling. And sure, Deborah's going to be able to do that too, but I think that, you know, someone at a, 4 to 5 year experience that's underneath Deborah, but certainly has some of the same skill sets as Deborah would be more valuable for the city as opposed to a entry-level, bookkeeper.
Yeah, because right now we've got a 2-year
Two-year,
experience
exactly.
level, right?
We can always change the job title, and we can enrich the experience level.
Yeah, I would like to see us say it's a financial analyst, and I think that's what was approved originally by, to add anyway, and that we do increase the experience level of, 4 or 5 years of experience.
Janice, I guess, how'd you get to here?
So we got
Kind of
to-
to your conversation, thinking
Yeah,
it's.
so we looked
Deborah.
at multiple other job titles. The financial analysis person wasn't hitting the mark of what was the goal, of what we're looking for, because, Deborah listed off a bunch of things. I said, give me a list of what you want that person to do. And that's how it boiled down to the staff accountant. There are multiple other titles that you can put in there with experience and not give the feeling that it's an
a
entry-level
bookkeeper, yeah.
position, and give it a little bit more robust backing to it, is how we kind of narrowed it down to why we got to this job title.
Got it.
And I do think that the initial kind of conversations were, let's get Deborah on board, have her kind of get her feet wet, and then ask her specifically, you've been here long enough to kind of identify the holes, the weaknesses, what you could use and what you
Well, I
couldn't.
don't think that was, Douglas, because we approved this position at the same time, and we approved this position to be filled back in FY '25 budget. It was in last year's budget, it wasn't filled, and we rolled it over. So the thought of council at that point was that we needed something more like what I described as
Yeah.
opposed to what this description is.
I don't think we would have any issue with that. I guess I would expect there would be a pay grade
So, yeah.
differential between the two.
There's a significant difference in what's budgeted to elevating it to a next level.
Because we budgeted it at this level, essentially. So this is how we got to this. It's some budgetary drove it to some degree.
Because
Yeah, I'm with-
this is what you feel like you can get for the dollars that were approved, then I would suggest we go back and ask for more dollars, because I think this is what we want as opposed to trying to fit,
The other way.
whatever you can afford, that's what we want. I mean, this is what we want, and what's it take to afford it? That's the question that I think, the way we ought to approach it, not the opposite way.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we put it on the workshop agenda then for more dollars for this position?
Yeah, and get everybody else
Yeah.
to, because I'm where John is. I think we need a little more
Okay.
horsepower
I can give you the ranges
for
to let you know when
difference
we,
between 6
you
and
got
8
it.
or 10 or
You
whatever.
got it,
Okay.
and where we place it, exactly right.
And then, you want it back to this committee, or you want to,
Yeah,
are
we
we,
might.
I mean, it seems like there's enough changes that I think I've heard you all say that we would come back to
Come back.
admin and start back here.
I think, because I think it'd be good to go to workshop, just to get everybody else's head nod around the table with
Okay.
this, since there is a
Because it has
budgetary
been 2
effect.
years, I think, since we
It's been
talked
a
about
bit.
this the first time, so maybe some people have some different thoughts, but
Yeah.
I do think
We got
that's
some
probably
thoughts,
what
yeah.
Okay.
You got some thoughts?
You good with the process, though?
I've got some thoughts that I'd like to express now,
Yeah.
or whenever everybody else is through.
Fire away.
When are you gonna put this person?
Therein lies one of the questions.
We potentially will put people into the conference room across the hall.
Right.
We have to work that out.
Okay.
And
Has
we-
there been any discussion on minimum requirements that also be CPA candidate?
No, there was no discussion about that.
I mean,
Well, we had a
Focus.
CPA for 20 years, a very good one. And I don't think, as far as I know, that we ever had an audit adjustment or any journal entries. And I am used to that, I'm accustomed to that sense of excellence. A CPA candidate would mean that the person would have a bachelor's degree plus 30 hours, which is 150 hours, which is basically a master's degree in either accounting or, well, it's pretty much accounting. Finance probably wouldn't qualify. I know MBA wouldn't. It's very specialized. But in today's environments, CPAs are very valued and because of their knowledge level. If something were to happen, then we'd have a person that's highly qualified. I'm with Mr. Bogosian about if we need more money, this is too important to let the money stop us. And you have a really good Department of Finance with the city with a CPA candidate. So a candidate, which means they have the prerequisite education skills or finished that part of the and they would have to work, if they're a CPA candidate, they'd have to work for 2 years under another CPA. And then plus pass the exam, which is not easy to do. But that is the height of the accounting world, the CPA certificate. The MBA these days is pretty much like a bachelor's was 30 years ago. But I don't know how the other members of the committee feel, but I'd like that to be considered. They don't have to have it, but they have a candidate. They have the qualifications to be a candidate.
Or again, all this is going to come around to a financial conversation at some level.
Right.
We could put that in as an optional requirement of some kind as opposed to
Preferred.
Preferred, yeah.
Right, I think you can put it in as a minimum to have a bachelor's degree in accounting with 4 to 5 years experience and preferred to have CPA or CPA candidate.
Yeah.
Well, these days, if you've got a bachelor's degree, you're pretty much limited in the accounting profession. And most of them, I've got to get the trademark. I got to get the CPA. So if they go to work for a CPA firm, they're going to school at night to get the extra 30 hours. Why would you stop? It's pretty much like an associate's degree used to be.
And most of the bigger firms are paying for the candidates coming out to go get their masters and their CPA license before they even start.
Right.
With them.
As long as they're in school, post-grad, to me, it tells me their intention is to be a CPA.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll tell you that.
I think you could be a good ad to put that in as a preferred, not
required.
required, but preferred,
Yeah.
and see what we
Right.
get.
Deborah doesn't have, she has the equivalent, but in governmental accounting, which is fine.
Right.
And I think you forget the initial story. It's just as important as in a CPA, but it's in governmental. And we all know she's highly qualified.
Jimmy, what else? Do you have other?
That would be, I just wonder where we're gonna put them.
So
Sitting Janice's
Yeah,
lap.
my lap, yep.
Well, we toyed with moving Janice, Deborah back to Desiree's office and putting 2 people in there and letting the new city administrator have it, so that staff could work that out.
How about the mayor's office?
That's a possibility.
We got eyes on that.
That's an
It's been
opening.
scoped out. All right, so just, I'll get you a range to.
Yeah, I think for
workshops
discussion
and-
at workshop.
Workshops, so that.
So one more item
we
on
need
our
to-
agenda.
We will definitely
Yes.
need more money.
Yeah.
For that position.
So-
And again, I think just where John is, I think we just get head nods around the table that that's where everybody else wants us to head, but
Okay.
I would agree we need
Okay.
more.
So in terms of pay grade, we have some kind of specific changes about the job title.
Yes.
The preferred CPA candidate,
Yes.
the years of experience. But it sounds, I think from John's description, maybe the entire job summary and functions. Are we talking about kind of a revamping of the entire document? And
You know, I don't think it's a total, but there's a beefing up of it and probably,
mention.
just because, I'm not saying that this person doesn't have the ability to do general ledger accounting, you know, debits and credits, they should, but that's a bookkeeper. It goes a lot more beyond that, what we're looking at. And so there may be some more language around expertise in financial modeling, forecasting, statistical analysis, and those
Analysis.
kind of things.
Ratio analysis.
Yeah, that you want to put in
Added
here,
into
add in here.
the summary,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, I don't think it's a redo, yeah.
maybe, yeah.
I think the CPA preferred thing is probably, it's just gonna take care of itself. I mean, why would, like, I hate to repeat myself, but why would you go get a bachelor's and say, and you're pretty much stuck? You're not going very far.
John, do you have other comments or not on the job description? Are you good? John or Jimmy, you all
I'm
are good?
Yeah,
Okay.
take it to workshop.
Yep.
They're good?
Good.
Janice,
Yep.
you all go with that?
I'm good.
Okay. Next item is for executive session. Make a motion, we go into executive session in accordance with Section 30-40-71 to discuss candidates for the city administrator position. Committee may take action upon entering executive exiting executive.
Second.
Sorry, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Off record at 10:49.